Hello? Okay. Yeah, sorry, my thing just died for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, everyone got their games up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting this is not when we stream at each other.
Yeah, me too. I forgot for half a second. That's why I just opened the game, like, just now.
Alright then. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to 4 Pixels. All your pixels are here, Coco, Kimi, and Moon, and we are continuing The House in Fata Morgana, Requiem for Innocence. Now,
Damn right we are.
make sure to hit load, not main episode.
Yep, I did it again!
Thanks for the reminder, Coco. we know how to play video games.
Goddamn time.
Alright.
We're professionals. I know how to games work.
Maybe.
We were in that scene.
Hold on, I was stopped at a different thing. How many things am I behind? Hold on.
What's it say on your screen?
I'm going into the thingy to see where it is. Okay, so Morgana, in your version of thing, your homeland.
Yes, me too.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just read. Your homeland?
Yeah. I mean, I hardly remember anything about my childhood anymore. Oh, what did I press? Return to game. I can't even tell you the name of the country. But I have these vague memories of how the language sounded. And your name, it doesn't sound like a name native to these parts. It sounds like something that will fit right in with those memories of my homeland. I'd wager a guess you probably come from the same part of the world as me. If you go back far enough, you might even find we share ancestors.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm from Jersey.
But who knows? How do you like that? Feeling a little sense of kinship?
The thought very much displeases me. You're fucking wrecked.
Well, okay then. You approach. Let it slide though. Getting your name out of you put me in a good mood. It's nice to formally make your acquaintance, Morgana. My name's Jacopo. Hey, Morgana. One day, I'll show you the world.
What?
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there than this tiny little corner of Earth we're rolling away in.
Is it just me or is he like projecting like onto her?
I feel that's a safe bet.
Yeah. More than you can possibly imagine. I'm going to go out into the world, experience true freedom. And I'm going to bring you with me. So try to stay positive. Once you see for yourself how much bigger the world out there is, how different every region and its people are, it might change your perspective on things a bit. It might even help you forget some of the crap you've been through. Thank God they changed that CG. I couldn't get over how pretty Jacopo looked.
Valid.
Alright, now I'm done.
Kimu's just like panic.
Yes! That ended up taking pretty much all the ointment. I'll have to go buy some more. Such a nice conversation they're having. Well, I should probably get going. Will you be alright on your own?
I'd much prefer it, in fact.
Alright. Sorry to be such a nuisance. See you again tomorrow.
Morgana just runs away in the middle of the night, so she doesn't have to see him. My whole body is all slimy. After the slave man left, I retreated to a corner of the room, sat down, and pulled my knees up to my chest. Through the walls I could hear men and women sinning, so I plugged my ears in an attempt to block out the vile noise. It was filthy here. If I remained in this place too long, I would probably taint my soul. I needed to get out of here as soon as possible. But I couldn't bring myself to leave. My body refused to cooperate. Just thinking about going out there into the slums all alone sent uncontrollable shivers down my spine. I was the daughter of God. What did I have to fear? Such worldly emotions were unbefitting of a saint. I was pitiful, pathetic, and I hated it. I have nothing to fear. God will always lead his saint to where he needs her most. And as long as I continue performing miracles, people will acknowledge me as the true daughter of God. I have nothing to fear.
You're damned witch wearing a saint's skin.
Ugh. Will they, though? Will anyone look at me and see a saint? I can hardly see a saint in his face. The Lord and his guests with their revulsion, their fear, that was the appropriate reaction. I was repulsive, not something to be welcomed with open arms. Saints and angels were always spoken of as beautiful, while demons and witches were spoken of as hideous. Any miracles I performed would be seen as the work of the devil, not God.
Nothing vain there.
It was my sacred duty to offer a helping hand to anyone in need, no matter how much persecution I suffered for it. My heart was resolute, but my head is all muddled. I can't stand this.
One day, I'll show you the world.
And thinking about the slave man only made an even bigger mess in my head. It wasn't all unpleasant, though. He didn't push me away because of how I looked. He treated me like an ordinary girl. Not a witch. And not a saint, either. And besides, I was being disrespectful. I know that. He was well within his rights to be angry. He could have let me go, but he didn't. He got angry and told me to stay. put ointment on me, smiled even. A very curious man indeed. And then there was what he had said about his homeland. Just because my name reminded him of where he came from didn't mean I came from there as well. Never mind that nonsense about us sharing ancestors. I had no bloodline to trace back. My mother had conceived me without knowing man, and my father resided in the heavens above, the Lord God. The very idea that we shared blood was absurd. And yet, what if somewhere on this earth there are people who share my blood, who feel what I do, who think what I think, who see the world the same as me? What if somewhere like that really does exist? That would be so very... That's called a church, sweetie.
Oh, who died? There she is. Well, so this is Jacopo. An early summer breeze blew past, rustling vivid green leaves. With the pleasantly warm wind at my back, I entered a graveyard. Anyone who wasn't from around here would probably have thought it nothing more than a curious arrangement of stones on an abandoned plot of land, though. No one knew the names of No one knew the names of most of those buried here, and they probably died without anyone by their sides. In death, though, they finally found themselves with someone to give them attention, to show them love. Love in the form of a prayer for the repose of their souls. And on this abandoned plot of land, now its de facto caretaker, a young girl and the only person who paid the dead who lay here any mind. She's too deep in prayer. I guess I'll have to wait. It had been a little under 2.5 years since I had rescued Morgana from the Lord's Manor. Much to my chagrin, she was still far from anything that could be described as opening up, but she wasn't quite as distant as before, from my perspective at least. She had stopped calling the girls at the brothel vile and impure, and she was even somewhat conversational. Sometimes. It seemed to me her trauma had loosened its grip on her, if only a little. Of course, she had a tendency to be on the brutally blunt side, which became more obvious as she started talking more. And I felt like the brutal part was getting more prominent every day. Though I suppose it was a good sign. Better than her refusing to interact at all, at least. Probably. She had also, most notable, begun showing signs of independence. Burying and sending up the dead who had no family or loved ones to do it for them was one such activity she had taken on. Living in the slums, it was hardly uncommon to see corpses up. Sorry, what? Living in the slums, it was hardly uncommon to see corpses abandoned in alleyways or on the side of the road. Generally speaking, they would be tossed off into a ditch somewhere out of the way to rot. But over the past couple years, that had stopped happening. Because Morgana had taken it on herself to give them proper burials and a gravestone. Nothing fancy, just a plain slab of rock to mark the grave, but it certainly seemed much more respectable than the alternative. Every day, she came out to the graveyard to pray for the departed. She had always seemed a bit abnormally pious?
Pious.
Pious. She had always seemed a bit abnormally pious, but there was something almost frightening about her dedication to the task. She was only 9 years old at the time of the slave revolt, which made her 11 now. And rather than play with other children her age, she collected abandoned corpses in the slums and brought them here to bury and pray for. Abnormal didn't even begin to describe it. Some time ago, I asked her, Why don't you go out? Why don't you go out and play like the other children? To which she calmly responded, I could not possibly waste my time idly engaging in worldly recreation. I knew that God was the most important figure in her life, but it still seemed excessive. Not even a convent was that draconian. I made numerous attempts to warm her up, but they all fell flat. Nothing I said seemed to make it through the heavy walls she had built around herself. And that was how Morgana acted around me and the girls at the brothel, those closest to her. The rest of the town could hardly get within shouting distance before being shut out. Although it wasn't like they tried either. Most everyone else actively distanced themselves from her. On some level, they appreciated her taking care of the bodies that showed up, but ultimately, to them she was little more than a spider that captured more dangerous insects begrudgingly left to its own devices. Hardly anyone found her pleasant, and they didn't hide it either. But not just because of her choice in hobbies. The biggest factor was, of course,
May your soul find eternal peace.
the disquieting marks covering her face. You all done?
I didn't realize you were here.
Been here for a little while now. You should really pay more attention to your surroundings. This isn't exactly the safest area.
Why bother? No one is going to do anything to me.
Maybe not now, but a few years down the line, that's a whole nother story.
I'm gonna knife the roper.
You should get in the habit early. You're a growing girl, and your face could very well be better by then too. Never mind the fact there are people out there who'll take anything as long as it's got girl parts. What if one of them decides to target you?
Appalling.
Aren't they? Which is why you should be a little more careful.
You are an appalling man.
Why am I appalling?
Because the thought crossed your mind.
It did not. I'm just saying, there are people out there who think like that, and you need to look out for yourself.
The fact that you would say that at all is appalling.
I'm just looking out for you.
Oh Lord, may this sinful man be cast down to hell, where he belongs.
Get, get wrecked, Jacopo.
I just also, yeah, Morgana, you put him in hell. Kinda. You did.
Jeez, you know no mercy, do you? I feel like you treat these corpses nicer than you do me.
You'd be correct. If you want me to be nice to you, go die.
Jesus Christ.
I'm feeling that right now. I'm just thinking about what Jacopo is supposed to be like for her.
Yeah. I've been feeling so weird about this because, like, this Jacobo seems like a completely different character than the one in main game. And it feels like they're trying to backpedal with him. And yet, they're still going to... I'm going to presume they're still going to keep the same sort of relationship, which... It's like, no, you... I don't know.
I mean, it feels kind of weird to me that he will go from this character to the character he was in the novel. So I'm not sure how they're gonna do the jumps there. Because it's like a weird development, like looking at him now, knowing him, how he's going to become. It's like, what happened? What went wrong?
Yeah, like, I think a big issue in general is in the they're pretty much using this game to fill in those gaps before he became the Lord. But I feel like there has been, even before we sort of got the story of this present time, like with the original Jacobo and his original life, there had been already so much damage done to his character that it was really hard to believe anything he said. Like, I could have found a tiny bit of sympathy in the whole aspect of, like, once he became the Lord, him trying to do things to better the lives of the poorer folk, but having his hands somewhat tied by not being able to go so far as that it would piss off the nobles, who would then usurp him, and then he couldn't help anyone. Like, I could sympathize with that and people not understanding and thinking that they betrayed him. But it's sort of hard to believe that he really had that consideration in mind when in the 3rd chapter, one of the things he says is that he doesn't care how many people die building the transcontinental railroad, and that if a lot of people do end up dying, whatever, we'll just hire some quote-unquote blacks and yellows to replace them.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I just can't find this version of Jacobo where he's, like, sincerely considerate to other people very believable. I just don't know.
Yeah. Guess we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh yes, go die. That's by far the best line in the game.
Yeah, it is.
The girl has got no mercy. Anyway, if you're done praying, get over here. It's ointment time. It's ointment time.
Honestly, that's such a fucking parent thing to say, though. How many times must I tell you? You're wasting your time.
Don't be such a pessimist. Rome wasn't built in a day. And there are still other ointments we haven't tried.
I'm sorry, just imagining Jacopo not even asking what anything is. He's just like, okay, I'll take that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and then bringing them all back and like, trying them by like every day, and it's like, Jacopo, that one's for like
feet.
Yes, that one's
Foot
for
fungus.
feet, like for arthritis. Oh, fungus, yes. Fungus, and then there's the topical cream for like, you know, arthritis. Oh, and then you have the anti-inflammatories, like you're just taking everything, really? Like,
I can just imagine him going into like these stores with like a bunch of ointments and soaps and whatever. I don't know, I can't remember the name, but he just goes in and like looks around and takes everything.
he needed he needed the magical ointment of Vaseline.
Yes, Vaseline, or no, he can get Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yes, I mean, yeah, that.
Yeah, or what do you call that? Tiger Balm.
That's a fucking
people
godsend.
Literally, though. God, there's so much. But he's just trying them all on Morgana, and Morgana's like, is it supposed to tingle? Why does it smell so bad? What's wrong with you? I hate you. Like, I want that rapport between these two. I want this to be an extremely complainy child and an older brother that does not know what the fuck to do with it. Like, this extremely complainy child.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Yeah, like, that's what it should have been. And then he could, either choose to hold hands with the weird blonde man or not. It just would work. I forget the weird blonde man's name.
Ditya.
Yes, him. The boyfriend.
Yes, the boyfriend. Just God. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did your line. I'm not being pessimistic, I just...
Then unless you want to stay looking like that, what do you have to lose? Now, come on, off with the hood.
You're a very stubborn man.
What? Kettle?
Fucking, yeah, you guys are literally like, I don't know how you're not related with how fucking stubborn you both are.
Yeah, bro. Tell me whatever you want. Nothing you can say will bother me in the slightest.
Oh, sure.
You're so fucking full of shit. I loathe you. His feelings immediately hurt. Immediately shattered. Just fucking destroyed.
Look at that puppy face.
He's so fucking, like, I need a drink. I'm so sad.
And that grin on Morgana's face after.
You were saying?
You're kidding, right?
Partially.
You
Oh, the
little.
angry face.
You little.
I thought you were going to apply the ointment. What are you waiting for? You're gonna get put in a headlock. He's gonna fucking...
Give you a fucking noogie.
Yeah, literally.
I sighed and gave her a little glower, then scooped up some ointment with my fingers. Morgana angled her face towards the floor, closed her eyes, and waited for me to begin. There was an element within the gang that gave me flack for all the time I spent looking after and caring for Morgana. Well, it was mostly just Gratian, actually. If I were you, I would have tossed that ungrateful brat out on her ass years ago. Well, then another story if she were a looker, of course. And to a degree, I understood where he was coming from. I certainly would have appreciated a little gratitude. On the other hand, all the time I spent with her, even if it was largely being verbally abused, allowed me to notice the more subtle changes in her mannerisms. And saying that growth, however small, was one of the things that motivated me to keep at it. For example, a year ago, whenever I went to make physical contact with her, I would have to verbally reassure her I had no intention to do her any harm, or she was likely to start shouting. And even if she didn't, she would sit there the whole time I applied ointment, incredibly stiff. Now, she was more relaxed. I could even sense a sort of trust emanating from within her as my fingers rubbed against her skin.
That's the loathing.
It wasn't my imagination. At least, I didn't think it was. It was something only perceptible through the act of making direct physical contact. That said, she's still borderline inscrutable. As I massaged the ointment into her skin, I traced the outline of her face with the flat of my thumb. The vast majority of her face was discolored, and in places, patches had festered and fallen off. The skin at the corners of her lips was shriveled and curled up, which I could only imagine was fairly painful. It was rough and uneven, hardly a pleasant sensation, and a far cry from the clean, smooth skin most girls her age would have. Maybe she's right. You think it will show some sign of feeling by now if it were ever going to. Despite my constant insistence that she stay optimistic, it was probably me who was most disappointed, most frustrated at the complete lack of improvement. The ointment wasn't cheap, to be sure, but I didn't give a damn about the money. It was the sense of hopelessness that got me, that it was all for nothing. Back when we first took her in, Maria had suggested the marks on Morgana's face might be a manifestation of something psychological or emotional. And I was beginning to think she was right. That wasn't going to stop me from trying, though. This was the only thing I could think of to do for her. I wonder what she'll look like when she's all healed. Maybe she'll smile for once. I'd like to see that someday.
Hello? Is anyone in there?
You need something? Oh, sorry, I got lost in my thoughts. I didn't realize I had stopped.
Lost in your thoughts? That sounds positively dreadful.
What's that supposed to mean? And what you thinking about what?
What?
Never mind. Finishing that, she's begging for another round of derision.
That's not why I wanted to get your attention either way.
Hmm?
What happened there?
Where?
Your arm? It's cut.
Morgana pointed to a gash peeking out from beneath my sleeve. While it wasn't a very deep wound, it was hardly a mere scratch either. Oh yeah, that's, you know.
I decidedly do not know.
It's not important. Don't worry about it. Her face.
Use it on yourself.
Huh?
The ointment, stop wasting it on my face, which is never going to heal, and use it on yourself.
No need to get so worked up about it, Morgana.
I am not worked up. I'm simply expressing my discontent at your foolishness.
Which I'm pretty sure is the definition of being worked up.
Regardless, don't use any more ointment on me. Use it on yourself. I'm sure it will appreciate actually being useful for once.
Last I checked, medicine doesn't have feelings. Really, it's not that bad. And besides, I'm only going to get more, so what's the difference?
You're going to get more? And what are you doing that would make you say that?
Yeah, I'm,
Too sinful to admit? You're an abhorrent man.
She knows you're having the kinky sex of Gratian.
Mm-hmm.
She knows.
She knows.
No, I swear it's nothing bad. You win, I'll tell you. I was hoping to keep it a secret. I'm, doing a little training.
Training?
Yeah, crime and unrest has been on the rise in the slums. Or, well, not just the slums, the city proper too. Things were quiet for a while after the slave revolt, but the Lord suddenly imposed a major tax increase about 6 months ago, which has resulted in a significant number of people unable to afford living in the city. To put it simple, the Iron Fist is squeezing even tighter than ever. And as a result, there's been a huge influx of people into the slums. You know how tight things are already, don't you? What do you suppose happens when you have limited resources and space, and suddenly twice as many people vying for their share? People have started trying to stake out their territory, and they're fighting hard to defend it. People are mugging and robbing each other over scraps. It's a mess.
I had no idea.
Not many thieves pick makeshift graveyards as their marks, after all. Though in this case, I actually think your being so isolated is probably to your benefit. But in any event, me and the rest of the gang have formed a band of peacekeepers of sorts.
Peacekeepers? Is that not the city guard's job?
The guards have never given a damn about the slums. Why waste manpower on people who can't even pay their taxes? As far as the Lord and his men are concerned, we're just looting off his land. We're damn lucky he doesn't make an active effort to chase us all out. That means it's our responsibility to protect ourselves.
I see. So you're training to use a sword as part of this band of peacekeepers.
In short, yeah.
That doesn't track at all. Interesting.
Interesting? In what way?
Give me the ointment.
Huh? I'm not done with your...
What's even left? You've done more than enough. Now give it to me.
Here.
Gaze in the chat. Gaze in the chat.
Yeah.
Roll up your sleeve.
You're not going to put it on me, are you? Like I said, I don't need it.
How many times have I told you the exact same thing? And how many times have you listened to me? This is payback for all the times you've refused to listen to me. You can't argue with that, can you?
No, I guess I can't.
What are you smirking about?
Nothing.
Morgana promptly stomps on his foot. Try to keep this sort of thing to a minimum, if you would.
Why would I want to limit my training time? I need to be prepared for whatever might come our way. That madman of a lord could be scheming to stand his soldiers in as we speak.
I'm sure there are others more suited for the job. Ha! She's calling you a twink. You don't seem like you would be especially adept with a blade.
She's not wrong though. Hey, don't judge my skill by my appearance. I'll have you know, I'm the second strongest member of the gang.
Oh yes, that's very reassuring. Who's the top, Maria?
Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
You're on fire today, huh? Since you seem to have forgotten, I put up a damn dozen fight against a lord during the... God, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I digging up some of her most painful memories for a cheap brag? Anyway, you get the idea. I'm pretty good with a sword, so you don't need to worry about me.
I see. And out of curiosity, who's the strongest member?
Excuse me? Why would she ask me, to my face, to give her the name of the one mile stronger than me?
It's not a difficult question.
Some asshole named Gratian.
Interesting. You call your boyfriend an asshole. Well, I hope he remains number one, and that you stay number two forever.
Did she just give them their blessing for marriage?
Yep.
And why exactly will you want that? The whole reason I'm training so hard is so I can surpass Gratian. And she wants me to stay below. below? Unbelievable. I get it. It's easier for you to look down on me if there's someone who can put me in my place for you. She demands a bottom.
Yeah, she does. That isn't why.
No? Well then, mind telling me why?
The strongest member of a group is the one who stands out on the front lines.
What's your point? The most qualified person has the charge, yes. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, Kobo, you dullard.
It puts them at greater risk. And you're a twink, so...
Wait, are you concerned for my safety?
Well, I could snap you over my leg like a twig. That's the line. Your death will simply make life more difficult for the girls at the brothel.
Well, would you look at that? You worried about me. I guess even you have a soft spot or two.
For heaven's sake. I already told you, that's not why I... Hold on a second. What did my husband just fucking say? Is this simp game? No!
What?
Wha-
Huh?
Oh, Scott knows.
Is your husband okay?
No. He learned the word simp and now he wants to use it. I'm all done.
Thanks.
Now, I assume you're finished with your business here, so feel free to make yourself scarce.
No need to be so rude. Or do you have some ulterior motive for wanting me gone?
For one, it's impossible for the dead to rest in peace with you around.
Maybe try thinking about the living first, for once. I've never really cared for how much importance people put on showing respect for the dead. It all seems so pointless to me.
Your blasphemy knows no ends, does it? When your time comes, you're going to find yourself with no one to grieve over your loss.
Fine with me. People are only worth their salt while they're alive.
What about the afterlife?
Was it time to think about the next life when you live in an overcrowded slum where someone might kill you one day for a couple coins?
All the more reason to take it into consideration. The consequences one's actions in life have on the next should serve to encourage us to always do what is right.
Not sure I buy that.
I'm done with this conversation. I don't think there's any getting through that thick skull of yours.
If I offended you, I apologize. I didn't mean to. Say, Morgana, would you mind humming that song you're so fond of for me?
What? Where did that come from?
I'm in a good mood today. And what better way to improve a good day than with good music?
I do not follow that line of reasoning one bit. What should I have to sing to make you feel better?
What's the big deal? It doesn't hurt anyone. If you have even half a heart, you'll do this tiny little favor for me.
Good news,
I
sir.
don't have half a heart.
No heart.
Exactly.
Now get out of my fucking house.
Are you implying she lives in the graveyard?
Yes, she's like Shrek. Get out of my graveyard!
Get out of my fucking swamp. Where's my donkey? Yes, because trying to manipulate me is a wonderful way to make me want to do anything for you.
Ooh. Okay, I'm sorry. That was mean of me. Please?
Doesn't sound very sincere. She slowly raises a rock over her head. But fine, I'll do it.
Away from me. We're gonna drop to the grassy ground, staring off into the distance and beginning to hum.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It wasn't a hymn. Oh fuck, I can't say that.
Requiem.
No, hymn.
Oh, no, you said it right.
Okay. It wasn't a hymn or a requiem for the dead, but a folk song the girls at the brothel will sometimes sing. No one seemed to know who had written it though. The lyrics were slightly vulgar, and people were supposed to clap and hoot along with the music. But Morgana only hummed the melody, leaving the rest of that out. In isolation, and sung with her voice, it became a thing of beauty. It was pure, untainted by the filthiness of the slums, unobscured by the crudeness of the people who normally sang it. In many ways, it was hard to believe they were the same song.
Morgana's just out there singing wet ass pussy.
Oh my god.
Buttons has corrupted me. This is Buttons' fault. I didn't
God damn
need
it,
to.
Buttons.
She was the reason I saw that.
This felt like it was hers, like it existed solely to be heard in her voice. Listening to her sing, I sprawled out on the grass. The blue sky spread out above me as far as the eye could see, and as I gazed up into it, all my problems seemed to fade away. That I lived in a dirty slum. That the Lord was digging his claws even deeper into the city. That I was in the middle of a makeshift graveyard for those who had no one else. It all just disappeared. I felt almost as though I had ascended to heaven. The first time I heard Morgana sing was, if memory served, approximately a year earlier. At the time, she was still completely walled off, much like she had been when I first brought her to the slums. She always kept her eyes on her feet, as she spoke in a soft voice, frequently pausing. She was wary of everyone, including me. One day, I wanted to put ointment on her face, and she shouted, roared practically, for me not to touch her. To be honest, it was somewhat aggravating. Another, I asked about her father, and she just pointed up at the sky, saying, he's up there. Which I took to mean he was dead, so I dropped the subject and got back to applying ointment to her. At some point, I started humming the song, which I had picked up from the girls. And upon hearing that, she told me she was quite fond of it. And then she began singing. Immediately, I found myself entranced by her voice. Though she always spoke in soft, muffled tones, her singing voice was incredibly clear, like I was listening to a chorus of angels. Of course, the moment I put that thought into words, it lost all its potency. I'll just turn into some loser's cheap pickup line. It really is something though. If she told me her voice could raise the dead, I would be inclined to believe it. It's just that beautiful. When it was true Morgana could be difficult and wasn't the most affable. I knew that. Oh, thank you. I knew that, at heart, she was a sensitive and compassionate girl. That she would come to this graveyard every day and pray for peace for all the forgotten souls was more than enough proof of that. Though she surrounded herself with high walls, she was probably the kindest, most loving person I knew. And that was what drew me to her. It didn't matter what anyone said about her, how quick they were to judge her as ugly or standoffish. I knew they were all wrong. It would be wonderful if I could just spend the rest of my days listening to her sing.
I could put you 6 feet under and you could hear it every day.
Easy.
Easy. Are you asleep?
I'm awake. I was just resting my eyes.
Oh. And I was about to accuse you of being boorish for having the audacity to ask me to sing and then fall asleep.
The fact that you were almost upset seems to suggest you want to be heard, despite how much you protested it. She got you there.
No, I simply...
I've got the perfect idea. We can build a makeshift stage at the pub and have you sing for everyone.
What?
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. You can wear a mask if you don't want anyone to see your face. You don't even have to get on stage if you'd rather not. You can just sing from behind a curtain. Who knows, you could end up being a big hit. Come one, come all, hear the soothing song of the enigmatic siren.
Absolutely not.
No, I think it's a pretty good idea myself. Oh, is it because you don't like taking other people's money? I wasn't planning on charging. I just thought it would be nice if more people could hear.
As I already said, absolutely not. If you push the issue any further, I'll never sing for you again.
Noted. Forget I said anything. Seemed like a good opportunity to get her interacting with more people, but I guess not. Such a pretty boy says wasted on just me.
What? You look like you have something else to say.
Nope, not a thing. Well, I'm not going to force her if she's supposed to it. Say, Morgana, there's something I've been wondering for a while now.
Hmm?
You've never actually called me by my name, have you?
And where did that come from?
I've just been thinking about it, and I can't recall a single time you've done it in the more than 2 years we've known each other. Don't tell me you've forgotten my name. Are you kidding me?
I remember it, yes.
I don't like that emphasis on remember.
Is it really that big a deal? There's rarely ever anyone else around, so it's not like you don't know when I'm talking to you. Besides,
Besides,
I'm planning to leave when I get older. So I don't see much point in getting very attached to anyone.
do you have a destination in mind?
Not yet.
Why are you thinking so far ahead then? You're 11 years old. You've still got a few years before you're old enough to be independent. And you're going to spend that whole time keeping everyone at arm's length? I just think maybe it's about time you took down some of those walls. Might take a little weight off your shoulders in the process. I'm not going to say you have to, though. Anyway, I should head out. I've got work to do. Try not to stay out here too late, okay?
I'll be leaving as soon as you're gone.
I could walk you back then.
I can make it fine. I can make it fine. I can make it back fine on my own, thank you.
As you wish. Hey, Morgana.
I thought you were leaving.
One day I'll show you the world.
One day I'll show you my knife. Do you ever get tired of saying that?
You've gotta think big. Dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just fighting to make it by day to day is hardly a life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world.
Jacopo, you just told her not to think about the future, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about my dreams, but your dreams are invalid. Fuck you. God damn it. Well, try not to let your dreams grow so big they crush you.
Wow. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming.
Why would I be there?
Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh?
No, it sounds like a crap deal because you and Gracian will be fucking all over the place and I have to listen to that. I don't need to see the world. All I want is...
Huh? What was that?
nothing.
Now I'm even more curious.
It's nothing, really. Now go on, shoo.
Fine, fine. See you later.
All I want is Taco Bell.
You can do better than that, Morgana. Except
Listen,
for the
she's
donut
got
holes.
She's got low goals. She's starting small.
It's important to start small and then go up.
Exactly. Doesn't he ever get tired of chasing me down day after day? I thought as I watched him walk off. Quite honestly, I didn't understand that man one bit. Apparently, a lot of people respected him, and he seemed to have a fairly large social circle as well. I couldn't fathom why someone like him would go out of his way to spend time with me. Morgana, I know you're a kid, but you are a kid. Wasn't for lack of people to talk to, and it certainly wasn't because we got along. Never mind my face, which couldn't be pleasant for anyone to be subjected to for any amount of time. Would he go so far out of simple pity? Hopefully he doesn't have ulterior motives. Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
At long last, your face is healed. I spent enough money on you to build a house, and you're going to pay me back tenfold. Now go forth, Morgana. Work! Be the greatest whore this brother has ever seen.
Wow, Morgana really knows him. He's probably not that devious. He's not that smart, frankly. Enough foolish speculation. It's going to start getting dark soon. I should head back. The brothel was all yeah, my god, my mouth! Why? The brothel was always rather quiet at this time of day. The girls worked at night, so they were generally asleep while the sun was out. And it was my job to take care of cleaning, laundry, and preparing meals while they rested. When I first arrived here, everything seemed so filthy. I mean, it was.
Pretty sure we won.
And while I still felt that way to a degree, nights when they were open for business were still miserable. I wasn't quite so prejudiced against the girls themselves anymore. They were kind to me, treated me like a sister, or tried to at least. I kept them at a distance, though, and so overtly spurned them as I had before. But as the holy daughter of God, I could not form familial relationships with prostitutes. Honey, have you ever heard of Jesus? Oh wait, no, this is too early for that. Jesus' word has not spread. You have a brother! He hangs out with a prostitute, it's chill.
Yeah, it's fine.
I could not delight in being pampered by them. My unwillingness to open up probably disheartened them, but still they did not throw me out or lash back at me for it. And no one made any remarks about my face. As prostitutes, they frequently caught all sorts of diseases. In my more than 2 years here, several had even passed away. One had gotten hives all over her body, transforming from fairly pretty to absolutely hideous in only a few days' time. And they had been seen considerably more than me, so they had no reason to comment on a girl with a little flesh missing from her face. Which wasn't to say everyone was sympathetic for me. I should get a fire started. I had taken care of most of the cleaning before leaving for the cemetery, so my next task was preparing food for the day. Supplies had been scant as of late, which meant today I was making yet another watery vegetable soup. Oh, right, he mentioned crime was on the rise. That would explain the trouble getting supplies. Here I am, completely oblivious to what's going on outside. From time to time, I would catch one of the girls saying, often with an uncomfortable laugh, "She's still the same old Morgana." But personally, I felt as though I had changed quite a bit since arriving here. No longer being intrinsically disgusted by prostitutes was big enough, but even more significantly, how pathetic. I had become astutely aware of how much I was on the receiving end of others' generosity. Before coming here, the thought would have never even occurred to me. I was always the giver of generosity. The saint everyone, man, woman, and child alike, came to for help. I hadn't told anyone what I was, though, so I didn't get any of that special treatment. And perhaps that was part of what had allowed me to change. Of course, because I kept all that tightly locked up inside, the only thing people saw was an aloof little girl,